we found out this basketball season, Kevin Keatts, who doesn't drink, collects bourbon, but now he collects transfer stars out of the portal.
Yes, he does. Yes.
Has any ACC team done better work in the portal thus far?
No.
Than
and
Kevin
in fact,
Keatts?
I went to my daily transfer portal sheet, Joe, that I cobble together 3 times a week.
That's like in honor of Mark Packer's old sheet of integrity or whatever it was.
Index card,
Index card, right. The infamous index card.
If I'm right, the only other school with more than 2 transfers in at this point is Virginia, who has 3. But NC State has 4, including 2 in the last 36 hours.
Yeah,
MJ
Middlebrooks and Rice.
And Middlebrooks and by the way, in what we've been waiting for all our lives, we just didn't know it, the trade between Clemson and NC State. We have no idea. Did anybody get any of the I didn't see a release from the league office, by the way, confirming the trade, so I still don't know if it's been approved.
I feel like some of these moves are players to be named later. You know, like the Arizona State transfer clearly was for Herb.
Yeah.
Right, pending physicals.
My question would then be, if Middlebrooks and Clark were traded, the league has to ratify the trade, don't they? Don't we have to have some statement from the commissioner or Paul Brazzo
who
says the trade's been ratified?
When's Jim Phillips, for the sake of competitive balance in the ACC, actually says no, you can't transfer
Chris
there.
Paul can't go to the
Chris
league.
Paul can't go,
and you got to go to this other team in the ACC.
Jack Clark is a far better rebounder than Ben Middlebrooks, even though he's shorter. So Clark cannot go to Clemson to replace Middlebrooks. Meanwhile, Middlebrooks commits more fouls per minute played,
and he's going to NC State,
and where they love to foul. So put a lot of people on the line.
This is where we are, and I'll share this. I talked to a coach yesterday who said that, like, yes, you know the portal exists, and remember there used to be this dead time after the Final Four till May when they would go back out, and then really July. Remember, Giglio, July was when it kind of kicked in, right? But now this stuff means you finish the regular season and then the portal opens back up and all hell breaks loose. So, and that's what we've got right here, because I'm looking at, I literally looked at the sheet today. Carolina has only 2 players in, Withers and Paxson Wojcik. Notre Dame only has 1 in. Pitt has 2 in. And like in the case of Syracuse, I think half their roster's gone. They got 2 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Miami has 4 in the portal, and they don't have anybody in yet.
That's what I was just about to ask you about Miami, because kind of quietly Isaiah Wong put his name in for the draft.
He's gone, too. He's not coming back.
And that one I looked at, and I was like, ooh. Now, I'm not worried, because I think Miami, Pitt, State, they've shown that they can handle their business in the portal. It's some of these other schools that you're talking about, Syracuse, Notre Dame, they haven't been in the portal game, and a lot of that has been who their head coaches were, and we're going to see how the league adjusts. I hope, though, that there was a conversation. Jim Phillips allegedly wanted to talk to the coaches about controlling the narrative. I hope they had an honest conversation about what the state of college basketball is now. Yeah. Because NC State, Pitt, and Miami did it the right way last year, and looks like, NC State's got off to a good start here in the portal. And quite frankly, Wes, as you know, spoke with Kevin Keatts last week. He said, listen, we're going to add guys. He goes, but don't be surprised if guys who are on our roster right now then leave. Right. Because that's going to be part of this too, that people need to wrap their brains around. Like, he goes, I want to bring in 4 guys. And if I bring in the 4 guys I think I'm going to bring in, I'm probably going to lose other players too. And then guess what? I'm going to go out and get some more. He's like, and people just need to kind of get their head around that.
Well, think about it like this. Ben Middlebrooks, and look, Ben is a nice player and a young emerging big man, right?
Who looked unbelievable against State the 2 times I saw.
Well, and here's the thing. Ben Middlebrooks leaves Clemson because why? P.J. Hall's coming back.
Right.
And so Ben Middlebrooks is not going to play.
Yeah.
And this is no longer about fit and comfort and degree seeking and all these things. This is simply about one thing and one thing only, and that's the ability to play. It's about minutes.
Yeah.
And
that's always going to be the primary
level
motivation.
You can play.
Yes.
Right.
The minutes will always, I don't care what the money is, the minutes will always be the primary motivation for people to transfer. Always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then now, of course, where you land, I do think is helped and guided by how much you can get in that new destination. So
yeah. By the way, the Josh Nickelberry kid that went to Florida State,
yeah,
2 years ago was at Louisville.
Right. Hey, can you answer today's trivia question?
Oh no,
this is a good one.
What is this, Ovies?
Today's
what is this? Is this sponsored somehow?
No. Today's trick trivia question: MJ Rice was McDonald's All-American. Presumably, he will get to NC State because we've seen Cameron Kelly on the football side. He's already back in the portal. I don't know if you saw that story.
I did.
Carolina to Virginia, now back in the portal. Assuming MJ Rice gets to NC State, he will be the first McDonald's All-American on their roster since
Julius Hodge.
No. Come on now.
No.
Now you're just getting crazy. Kevin Keatts has had one McDonald's All-American on a roster.
One.
I'll give you the obvious hint.
I did not get it.
He never played.
Yeah.
The actual last McDonald's All-Americans to play for NC State are T.J. Warren, Rodney Purvis, Tyler Lewis. Those are the last three. But there was one more on the roster, and it wasn't Dennis Smith because he was injured his senior year and didn't make the McDonald's team.
Okay, who was it?
He began his career at Kentucky, and he never played for NC State.
No.
And his mom taught at UNC.
Oh no.
Sasha Jones.
That's a fun fact. That's something.
That's
you
like the Diego.
I even got you on that.
Yeah, that's something you drop at parties.
Yeah,
little fun facts.
And that's like the Diego Romero at Florida State.
Yes,
that's the Dan Bonner. You have to ask Dan Bonner sometime about the Diego Romero theory.